welcome to another episode of Good Soup After Dark. I'm Marie.
And I'm Jay. And happy almost New Year.
Yay!
So a lot's happened in the past year. But before we get started with this recap and our future plans, we just want to say a few things. First, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're a small channel, and we're hoping to grow within the new year. So the more of you that like and comment and engage with us, the more we'll grow, and that's how it happens.
Yeah, you just pressed a like and we became happy.
That too, it helps our self-esteem. Also, you can find the audio version of this podcast now on Spotify and soon on Apple Podcasts. We're going to put the link to everything, including that, our new Instagram page, GS After Dark. That's specifically for the podcast. It's going to feature shorts and reels of just like really great parts of the episodes that we have.
Yeah. We put everything down below of this video.
Yes.
You can find all the information. Yeah.
So like we mentioned earlier, we just kind of want to recap what we've been doing for this past year as Good Soup Productions, and now with this podcast, Good Soup After Dark.
It was a really big project. We mostly work with probably the amazing artists of our circle, but we want to interview different types of artists, musicians, artists, painters,
Business owners.
writers.
And if that's you and you're interested in being featured in either one of our podcasts or one of our artist profiles, you can contact us via email, Instagram. You can DM us there. All that's going to be in the description below. And we're also going to have a Google form in the description below as well. And you just, write briefly who you are, what you do, and why you're interested in being either on the podcast or having a profile done. And if you check the playlist under our channel, you can see which is which. Podcasts are just a sit-down format where we sit with someone and just have an open-ended discussion. Whereas a profile, Marie, I would say it's kind of almost like, what's a popular one? Soft white underbelly type deal?
Yeah, it's more kind of I think, a little bit open the artist and also a little bit open. It feels like we can show your art to the world and also talk about you a little bit. I mean, you're gonna talk about yourself.
Those pieces are more of just like focused on the artist or the professional themselves, as opposed to just a conversation. And those are both kind of pieces that we're interested in doing as far as this channel is concerned. Also, just as Good Soup Productions, we do other types of productions. Marie, what are some of the examples?
Oh, well, we do the event coverage. We do the pictures and videos, recap of the event. But also we do music videos.
We've done a couple short films on our own. And if you're interested in just working with us on a professional level in that degree, we're going to put our email down below. And you can just contact us there or our Instagram, either goodsoup_prod or GS After Dark.
As you know, everyone right now need a content. And if you need a content, your art, your music, or any type, we come to us and we can help you to fill it out, your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Reels. Also.
So just want to talk about the podcast for a little bit, Good Soup After Dark.
Yeah.
We started it back in October. And just kind of through the work that we've been doing through like different organizations and like events throughout the year, we've been really lucky to kind of fill like the space with really good and just like genuinely like interesting people. And like we want to continue in that direction with the podcast, but Maria and I also want to do just more stuff like kind of like what you see here, what you hear here, just the two of us, just kind of more into the new year. We want to do more stuff that shows people who we are. And Marie, she's a hell of an artist. She's a tattoo artist, a painter. All the paintings you've seen behind us on most of these episodes are all done by her hand. All these tattoos.
This one. I'm right hand.
Fair enough. And all these tattoos you see here are all done by Marie.
And you can find more of my tattoo works and artworks on my Instagram pages. I also have an Etsy shop, and we'll probably add it too. If you're gonna be interested in one of the arts, prints or actual arts, yeah, you can find them there.
I think it's kind of appropriate with like a year recap. You started working with Love Spell in Willow Grove, like actually beginning of January, right?
I think I start. Officially I start to work at the beginning of January, but my first tattoo I did much later. I think February or March, because I feel like not ready. I'm afraid of lots of stuff. I feel insecure because of my English skill level, the talking, because it's a customer service one way or another, and you need to talk to people. But yeah, everything works great. I try hard sometimes, but probably the first step is always harder than other steps. I feel like I complete this year with a actually good feeling about next year, especially with the tattoo area. But let's go talk about you a little bit. But this guy right there, you, Jay, you just start from bottom, it's wrong if I say you start from bottom. I think you have some background, you have some knowledge, but as a business owner and full videographer thing, you digging into it.
Yeah, it started really kind of buckling down with it this year. Last year, towards the end of last year, we started doing our own videos and trying to like get the hang of it, like learn how to use the cameras, learn the editing software. And we even fell into interviewing some people over at the Pancakes and Booze art show. The first one we went to was in November. You weren't a part of that, but since then you've been a part of a few of them.
Yeah, I remember.
But just kind of, I think that's where we connected the videography with particularly the interviewing. And that's kind of what I really like to do. I really enjoy the interview aspects of making these videos. It was kind of a big jump, actually. Like last year, we started trying to do cooking videos that really went nowhere, and I think that's because we lost interest in it. And we realized like having these cameras kind of gets you access to different people, to different spaces, to different events, and we've been pretty fortunate to cover different events and meet different people. Yeah, and I found that doing this has helped me feel more comfortable in front of the camera, which I wasn't before. And it kind of helped me, for lack of better terms, learn how to talk to people. And I think it's kind of helped you in the same as well, especially, you know, with the language comprehension. Marie's been in America just over 2 years now, and her English is getting better and better each day. Pretty soon it's going to be way better than mine, which I'm totally okay with. But I think it just kind of helped us learn how to talk to people. And I've always just kind of been interested in like the format, like interviews, documentaries, kind of like the nonfiction aspect of it. And yeah, that's just kind of where my interest kind of comes along and what I've been learning to do. And I think that's the reason why I really like doing the podcast. We actually kind of put ourselves out there in the world more and started meeting different artists, and we decided to kind of throw our own art show / party back in February.
Yeah, in February we have our own project. We call it Profound. We invite different types of artists that we met before, and we make the big party that everyone can show their art and is kind of cozy, but at the same time, people met.
Yeah, we invited a bunch of traditional artists, painters, a couple of people who made jewelry that set up some tables, and we also had DJ people and people who performed. Big shout out to CSW. He DJ'd our first event ever, and he performed, and we had some other performers there as well. Like we had all these people in our home. We took down all of our own paintings and pictures off the walls to give people space to put their stuff up. We're fortunate enough to have like a really big space that we live in, loft style apartment. So we had just space on walls and just like space for people to spread out. And yeah, like Marie said, people exchanged information. They got to know each other. They got to know us a little bit better. And I think we forged some pretty good friendships out of that too. Yeah, that was a really cool event that we did. And it kind of led into other work. We ended up working with an organization because of the type of work we were doing up until that point with the interviews with the Delaware Music Network down in the state of Delaware, Wilmington. They held monthly events over in the Wilmington Public Library where they had featured artists from the area and those event coverage. And what we did was the interview portion.
Yeah, we start to work with musicians, performing musicians, and it's not that we used to do. We used to interview artists, and now we have absolutely different direction. It wasn't hard, but we still need to learn how to do that, and we did it.
Yeah, and it was a good opportunity for us to like kind of network and meet different people as well. The way we did it before was just going to events around us. But now we're like exposed to like a whole different state and like just different types of people to work around. And we learned just kind of from that experience how to like, at least me specifically, like, you know, the importance of setting up the stage and the lighting. And Marie taught me a lot of that.
Yeah, and of course, in our time, if connections, it's the really important thing. And this DMN bring us lots of different connections with the different artists, mostly in Delaware, but some of them was from New Jersey or Philly, from a little thing that we did in a public library in Delaware. Now we around the Delaware, talking with the other people, do the showcases of art and cover the event, invite artists to our own space and talking about their lives, how they became artists, and give them the platform to share their music and upcoming events. And it's really important for us that we make this step to start to work with the Delaware Music Network.
And from there, we actually ended up signing on with another organization, and we interviewed him in our third episode, Janad from Trifecta Music Empire. They're a record label, musicians out of the Wilmington, Delaware area, and we've been working like really close with them for the past, I think, 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah.
Doing their event coverage and just doing content with them. And that was kind of like a big step in learning how to work with like different people and like a different type of organization.
Oh, if you hear somewhere in a video and you don't understand what we're talking about, Trifecta Music Empire, shortly TME, most of artists we interviewed actually from this group of artists. But yeah, that's why I want to clarify it, because I understand because sometimes it could be not easy. If you need to watch the old episodes to know that, but if you don't, well, I share with you this information. I think it's fun experience. In my deep idea, I want to do the music videos and probably working with musicians. It's really important for me because I can share my ideas with them. If I listen to their music, and if I like it, I can imagine some pictures, some video ideas. So yeah, it's. I think it's a good opportunity for me, like for a director or music video director. What about you? What this means for you, and how do you feel on a role working with a hip hop label?
Honestly, I think it's really cool. I think I'm kind of like a dork that kind of ended up in this position. I really enjoy the kind of content we do with them. As of right now, we've been just kind of mainly doing their event coverage for their new event, Proving Grounds, which is, we got to speak with Janad about that, but just real briefly, it's just, it's Delaware based for right now. They're going to start doing events in Philly pretty soon. But the objective is to get artists more comfortable performing in front of a crowd and like genuinely performing. You know, you have artists that perform on a studio track and they can kind of fall back on it. And if they don't remember the words, they can just kind of like dance to their own song. Whereas this type of event is really pushing for the artists to like know their stuff. This is hard.
I thought it was going to be fun. But...
Like, I don't even really feel like I have much of a social life anymore.
It's not fun at all.
Like, my social life is doing the video work.
Can you say you have a social media life?
It's not even really social media that I really care about. It's just...
No. You just say you not have a social life, but you have a social media life because you share lots of our videos on Instagram and YouTube and everything.
Yeah, but I don't even really care about... I think the point I was trying to make was like, most of my social interactions are like through events and event coverage and interviews. Is that bad?
No, it's professional deformation.
What does that mean?
It's when you work for not a long time, but really consistently work with some specific area. You start to, like, your personal life start to deformate by the work you did. What's the most important for you in the podcast?
I want to learn how to talk to people better, and I want to learn how to lead better, and I want those skills to be able... I feel like a big phony sometimes. Because, like, the thing is like, I don't give a shit about the cameras. I don't give a shit about social media. I don't... I just want to make stuff and figure out how to make a living off of this. Like, I feel out of place when talking to other videographers when they talk about their cameras and stuff. So, like, the professional deferment or whatever you were talking about, like, I don't even feel that. I don't even feel in place with other videographers. I think my ultimate goal is just, like... I don't know. I don't know what my ultimate goal with any of this is. Like, I don't even think I have imposter syndrome because I don't even know what I'm trying to be. Like, this whole year is just like me trying to figure it out. Like, oh, we're going to be videographers. Oh, we're going to care about cameras and that kind of stuff. And I just found out I don't care about the type of camera. People ask me about the cameras. It's like, yeah, it shoots in 4K. Like, I figured out the editing software. I like editing. I just know that I like talking to people, and I just know that having the skill sets and the equipment that we do helps us do that. Like, honestly, like, this past year is just me trying to figure out who I am. Like, I quit drinking just last year. I spent most of my 20s drinking. Most of my 20s doing drugs and just stupid shit. So, like, honestly, I was hoping I had an answer as to what I wanted to do, you know, at the end of this year. And it's just like looking forward to next year. It's just like, I don't, like, I feel fake saying, oh, yeah, you know, we work with these people and we work with those people. And it's like, it's great. It's great. But it's just like, I feel like the goal's bigger, but I just don't know what the goal is yet. And I feel ashamed that I don't know what the goal is yet. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to make a documentary, but I can't tell you about documentaries to what to watch because I don't care about other stuff. I just know what I want to do. But then I don't know what I want to do. It's so confusing, Marie. Like, do you know what you want to do? Do you know what you want this to become?
Yeah, I want for we grow into the good show, maybe even on TV, have good amount of viewers to spread our opinion, because we all have opinion, and I think if we find a good people to talk and interview, we can share their good opinion, our good opinion, and can change the world with this. So far we have, yeah, work even if it's hard, do a little bit, if you have passion about something, still do it. Most of the artists we interview still have work, regular work, regular job. They go in the morning or whatever the schedule is. And yeah, but they still pursue their dreams. They still do the music, and it's expensive. And they try. They have events, and we help them to grow. And I want, from my opinion, was heard. The people hear it. And I want for people, don't give up, because if I give up once, I probably don't sit here. And I think the main goal, it's not about me, you, or people we're interviewing. It's more about spreading the information, some knowledge, and opinion. We take people time to give them some information, and we try to make this information maybe not the personal important, but just as a story that you can apply for, like, not apply, you can put on your life and see, like, oh, I have the same thing, but I don't do that for some reason, but I really want it, I always dream it. And this guy do, why he's doing and I'm not. Just think critically. Like, oh, if he doing this, he find the time and find the money, maybe I can do this too. Maybe a little bit, maybe not that much. Maybe I have a couple events and not sitting on my music that I did. Because how many paintings just lay down? I'm talking about myself. How many my paintings lay down somewhere back in Kiev on the top of the closet? You know what I mean? And nobody's seen it except maybe my parents and me. Just because, who am I going to show it? Nobody's going to see it. I still have it, and I can't stop think that way. And yeah, I think it's good to learn something, but I think personal goals, it's great. You can grow into it. You can build the skill sets and everything. But when you're gonna have it, what's gonna be next? Of course, you probably figured it out during this journey, but
I think overall my goal is just trying to find meaningful human connections and finding a way to broadcast that in an entertaining way. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that without seeming phony or disingenuous. Like sometimes I think I do come off like kind of phony and disingenuous. And I think this is just a very expensive and elaborate way for me to figure out how to be an actual person outside of the way I used to try to be an actual person. Like you didn't know me in before we met, you didn't know me and what I used to do. And like, it's a big deal for me. Like this past year is the first calendar year I haven't touched a drop of alcohol.
Yeah.
And I used to like base my personality around going to parties and hanging out and drinking and having a good time, but not much outside of that. So like once I got rid of that, it was just like, all right, well, who am I? You know what I mean?
So you're trying to find yourself?
I guess so. I guess by interviewing all of these people and like getting to know people and like putting us in these events and like putting us in these social situations where whether they're like real life social interactions or like these parasocial things like through social media or whatever, it's just a really elaborate way for me to figure out who I am. Because I'm 33 and I still don't know.
Well, it's not scary not to know.
No, it's scary.
It's scary for you. I'm talking about, it's not a bad thing if you don't know who you are. At least you try to figure it out. That's important. Because if you're not trying to figure it out and you stay as, like, I think we all have sometimes the masks, the most comfortable for us or for people around us. We're wearing a mask, we're trying to be good or bad or interesting or smart. Of course, as much as we can, but we try to show ourselves in a specific light and find yourself. It's a journey, definitely. And you can find yourself, probably you do the right thing. You can find yourself only through talking with the different people and find similar things or absolutely opposite things in between you. And then you're like, oh, I definitely don't feel that. So I probably feel something else.
Yeah, I guess like this podcast was just another way for me to try to figure that out. Like to try to experience life in a different way. Mm-hmm. Like, and my life is drastically different. I think I mentioned it earlier, like most of my time is just working my real job and then coming home and editing and shooting and trying to set up like episodes or like conversations or interviews or profiles or trying to find events for us to do or work for us to do outside of it. Like, I feel like in a way this has kind of like become my identity too, which is kind of confusing and a little bit scary.
Why?
It's like I'm becoming myself, but it's not. It's like I'm becoming this good soup thing.
Okay.
And it's all I really care about. And then sometimes I'm like really proud of that. Like, I really love this. Like, I love what we're doing. And then sometimes I'm just like, but I mean, what is it really? Like, what am I proud of? So it's just this weird conflicting thing. And then like, because I tie my identity to it when I'm having bad days with it, like I feel really, really bad about myself. I mean, and it's just like, I don't know how to, just like with my drinking, I don't know how to separate myself from it without fully becoming it. And I don't know if it's a good thing that I'm trying to fully become this, or if this is something like me and alcohol.
Well, I can't tell anything. I think you're definitely not the good soup. You're just a part of it. You're a big talented part of it. I'm a second talented part of it.
Right. I'm not saying I'm all of good soup. I'm just saying that I'm all of the part that I am.
But you're not the. You not the company. You are like the head of the company. You're on top of it. You're not a machine. And you're Jay, and you're not only a editor and videographer, you're also my husband and supporter of my art, my tattoo canvas. And I play this different roles for you, and I have I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a kitty doggy owner, I'm a part of the Good Soup Productions, and on and on and on. I don't have a regular job. I want sometimes. Especially in the moments when I don't have any inspiration. I feel useless. And any jobs that I ever did in my life, I never feel like I don't like my job. So for me, it's complicated to understand that sometimes job can just make you feel sad. My job wasn't good sometimes because of people I dealing with. Mostly because probably the problem is always in the person who have a problem. I don't think that, like, all of them have a problem with me. I have a problem with them. So I have this. For me, it's complicated to separate myself from a project too. So if someone tell me the project is sucks, I became really upset because someone said I'm sucks, and it makes me upset sometimes. And I also need to remember that I'm not a project. I'm a person who create that project. So I understand you. Maybe not completely, but a little bit in my way. I can understand your feeling about that. Identity, losing identity in a thing you do. But definitely this year was different, really different than anything we did before.
Yeah, challenging.
Really challenging.
Like, we don't have to sugarcoat it. Like, some connections weren't good for us.
Yeah, sometimes you think you find the right people to work with and it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, and that kind of bothers me too, because it's just like, because I tie my identity so much to the work that I'm trying to do, and it's like, if the relationship doesn't work, like, I end up blaming myself a lot. And then even like between us, like when we don't agree on things, it's just like, maybe
It's like punching each other in the face, but we're talking about the project.
right. And like, I mean, I said earlier, like, the objective of this, of like the work that, you know, I've been trying to do, that you've been trying to do, like what we try to do is to make better connections. And like, sometimes I fail miserably at that. Like, there's reasons we don't work with certain people anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, I feel really, really sad about that.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a sad moment, I think. Like this particular what we're talking about, it was a sad moment because it feels like we was really passionate about the project, and us, like, it's not like we don't want to do that. It's people was satisfied with what we do, but don't want to work with us. So it's confusing. It actually was really confusing, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely sure nobody's. We can cut it, but I'm absolutely sure nobody's can do the work as we did for this event, as much as serious we take it, and as much as not serious the owner take it. I have my sour feelings about actions that they decide to.
Yeah, me too. And I think what's kind of stressful now is just like trying to figure out how to do it on our own. And I think that was kind of the specific moment that you were talking about was really kind of the catalyst for this podcast.
Yeah.
It really kind of pushed us to try to figure out our own thing with this. Because, I mean, if it doesn't work out, ultimately we have no one to blame but ourselves. You know?
Yeah. We're not you're right. We not work with anyone except you and me. Of course we have the people that we invite, but the root of the project, it's you and me. So
Right, it belongs to you and me.
yeah.
Like, no one can try to take ownership of our work except you and me.
Yeah.
And that being said, no one could take ownership of the failures except you and me. And, you know, I guess it's just like really putting to the test, like me wrapping my identity around this. And I guess it's a nice way to wrap up the year. because like the beginning of the year, like we worked with different people, we worked with different organizations, we worked with people we no longer work with, or we worked with people we no longer work with, and we're not part of things that we're part of before, and we don't even do the same type of work that we did in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And now we have something absolutely our own that we're passionate about, and so far, it was really good. We have a moment. I think everyone have a moment. Whatever you do, you definitely have a moment that you feel upset or not satisfied about something. But we don't plan to stop. It's not in our schedule.
Yeah, no. I mean, as a matter of fact, we're trying to fill up our schedule.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to find a place in Delaware to interview Delaware-based artists. And soon we want to try to find a different studio to interview Philly-based artists. I mean, doing it in our home is nice. This is our home. But it's kind of difficult to ask of anyone to invite a whole bunch of people to your home. And we want to just try to find like a neutral spot. So, hey, if you're still listening, like, especially if you're in the Philly area and you can help us find a studio space, like, the help is much appreciated. Like, we can continue doing stuff like this. We can continue inviting close friends that are musicians and artists and all that, because we have them. Mm-hmm. You know, like, despite the connections that we lost, we also made some really strong ones, I think, that are going to last a while. And I'm sure those relationships will be put to the test, as any other relationship is. But I guess the whole moral of this year is just trying to figure it out, and trying to figure out who the hell I am outside of what I used to be. And I think part of my journey is trying to let go of who I used to be too. I think part of me still feels like I'm that guy that used to drink a lot and not care about anything. And I have to realize that I'm not that guy.
Not at all. Yeah, I think important that sometimes you have idea and you're not ready to make it real. Just think about that, and maybe you change your mind, like we have with podcast. Because after really losing the main thing that we find really fun and satisfying, we was a little bit loose in the space. Loose in the space. So we just like what we're going to do, because I think we both want to do this in a way. I see it as a good way to connect with the artist for my goals. Like I said, make the short films, music videos, and for us together to do something own and grow our business. For Jay, it's important to, not important, but he really likes to do the interview. He likes to interview people, and I think he'd do this really well. So yeah, if you have ideas, let them cook. Give them a time. Think about that. Don't say no. If idea comes to your head, probably it must to be there. It's meant to be there. And just remember, better try and be in sucks than not try at all.
Yeah.
Even this podcast, it's a big try for both of us.
I feel like we've been throwing a lot of stuff against the wall to see what sticks, and I think this is the stickiest.
Sticky stick.
Yeah. So I don't really have so much of a New Year's resolution as much as what I think I need to do to be better in life. But
what about running? We started running January 1st.
No, there's enough gym memberships going on January 1st. We can stay out of that.
I'm gonna buy it a little bit later when it's gonna be cheaper.
What, a treadmill?
A treadmill and
or a gym membership?
Gym membership, or like this. I forget how it's called.
Elliptical?
Yeah, or like bicycle. How it's called bicycle, but like it's for training. You're not like riding it; it's just sitting on one space.
Like a stationary bike.
Yeah, something like this.
And I plan to buy more stationary. Birthday cards, wedding cards.
If you need the cards, you can go to my Etsy shop and check what we have there. We also have a stickers.
Yeah. Well, this was a little bit of a turn for the episode, but I'm going to make this work.
I hope so.
Yeah. And
see you next year.
See you next year. And that's the way the news goes.
Shabba-dabba-doob-doob.